Hello everyone and welcome to Slipjoint Sawyer. Today we'll be taking a look at a Swiss Army knife, and this is one I've been looking for a very long time, or one of the ones I've been looking for a very long time, and I managed to pick it up from my good friend Dan over at Blade Bridge Customs. You can see he's got his business card here, and on the back you have all his details. So you've got sales, sharpening and servicing, bladebridge.co.uk, Daniel Bridge, his mobile number and a QR code. If you hold it there for a sec you can pause, screenshot it, scan it, whatever you wish to do, and it'll take you to his website. But he's also got a great presence on Instagram under Blade Bridge Customs and Vintage Tool Goods on Etsy. He sells on all those platforms. I will put links to it all in the description below, so after the video you can go check it out. But he does fantastic deals, he does customs, loads of stuff, so make sure you're checking him out. He's a wonderful guy to deal with. But this one is a very sort of special model. It's an 84mm, and what makes it so cool is it has scissors. Now these are very rare and hard to come by, and the one I've managed to pick up from Danny did it. I got a very like an excellent price. But some of these online, especially on Etsy, different sellers, they can be going for up to £200 or more. So that's probably about $230. They are very expensive because there's not a lot of them left. They've been discontinued for a very long time. But the one we're looking at today is the Salesman. Now that is practically an 84mm of the Super Tinker. So same tools set, same tools, everything like that. The model number then for the Salesman is 0.4703. So it's an 84mm, as I mentioned prior, which equates to 1, 2, 3, about 3¼ inches closed. We have the standard Cellidor scales on there, and you can see the inlaid shield has fallen out on this one, but this has been a very carried, loved and used knife. Now, you can always tell between someone that knows how to look after a knife and use it compared to someone that knows nothing about knives, and I'll explain it as I go through. But the person that owned this, yes, there's bits that are damaged on it, bits that are used. It's very sort of beat up, as you can see from the scales, but that's exactly what I love about picking up an older knife. I just think it's fantastic having something that someone's used, loved, and there's a definite history with it. But we're going to go through the tools and I'll sort of explain it as we go. But front scales then, standard red Cellidor. You get the toothpick on the tweezers on the front. Honestly, the best set of tweezers that come with anything. I think they're fantastic. You get the keyring as well, standard, and the toothpick on the reverse. We'll start with the back tools. So obviously it's an older model, there's no multi-purpose hook. This is before that sort of was around, but you get the punch or awl blade with no sewing eye, and you can see that has definitely been used. There's a couple of chunks out there, but this is sort of mid restoration from myself. I've cleaned it all up so it's in good working order and sharpened it, but there's still bits I want to sort of rectify, like the edge on this awl. I can definitely improve that. We have the squared 3D Phillips screwdriver. Again, it has been used. We've got a little bit, one of the teeth there has snapped off, but I'm going to rectify that as well. I'm going to grind the rest down so they're all equal and put a fresh point on it. But this is of the era where they had the can key in there as well. No nail file on the back of this one. But the action is absolutely superb. So I bought an ultrasonic cleaner very recently, and I put this through that, and it honestly, it took everything off it. Bit of deionized water and it was perfect for it. Action is superb on that. And then we have the front layer then. We have the can opener with the smaller flathead screwdriver, and again, you can see that a little bit of that corner is snapped off, but that's not a problem. I'll get that filed down, or I'll just sort of change it to a slightly smaller one. It doesn't bother me at all. It's a used knife, and the history enough is for me to love it forever. But you can see how well these have been used. There's all the scratches all over there, but you get the standard nail nick and the classic Victorinox finish, which is sort of like a polished, tumbled look. Left hand side then, you get the cap lifter with the wire bender and the larger flathead, and of course, being an older model, there is no half stop. See again the use on that. For me, scratches and stuff like this, use on a Swiss Army knife is the same as when you get a patina on like a carbon steel blade. I treat it exactly the same. This is use patina. I think it's fantastic. But you can see it's been used very much, but it's still all there, and it's stood the test of time. You see, you've got the nail nick on there as well, very sort of standard, but the snap is still fantastic on all these tools, as you can hear. Next up then, which is very desirable at the moment, is scissors on 84mm, and you can see it's the older style scissors. Got the screwed pivot on there, but they're still in absolutely fantastic working condition. Anyone that's interested in the length of the scissors, they're slightly shorter obviously than the 91, but a little bit longer than the 74, which, you know, makes sense. They're right about the 2.5 inch mark for that tool. Then we have the main blade, and this is what I say about the use as someone that's knew how to look after a knife. Look at the use that blade has had. You can see the amount of scratches that are all over it, especially on the back as well. But we have an older style Tang Stamp. You can see the bolt is touching the crossbow, and the V in Victorinox is the same size as the word, and it's a 4-line Tang Stamp. Now that puts it in a range between 1976 and 1986. So even if this is at the very end of that date range, the knife is still 5 years older than I am. So, I mean, it's going to be what, like a 38-year-old knife at the youngest this is going to be, and for that age, I think this is fantastic. But back to what I was saying about someone who knew how to look after the knife and love it. The edge is still all there. I have had to sharpen it, of course, as it had a lot of use, but they've not used a pull-through sharpener. You can see there's no upswept on the blade. It's very much the exact same shape as a normal blade would be, and someone's loved this knife, and that's just great. But blade length then, pretty much all still there. It's a 2.5 inch blade with, where are we? Just over a 2 inch cutting, 2.1 nearly inches on the cutting length. I think maybe it's lost a little bit of its length. It's normally about 2.2, I think, as like a cutting edge. But it's had a lot of use. It's been loved. And we also get the pen blade on the back, and it's the same story with that. You can see a lot of that material is still there. It's got a nice sharp edge on it now, but the scratch is all over it. But I'm just amazed about how this has been used, stood the test of time. Absolutely fantastic knife. Glad to have picked this one up. I am still trying to find the rest of the 84mm with scissors. They're very expensive because of the collectability at the moment, and they're very rare to find. So if you find one for a good price, snap it up before someone else does. Well, there we go, guys. That's my review of the 84mm Super Tinker, otherwise known as the Salesman. Model number for that, again, is 0.4703. Please go and check out Dan at Blade Bridge. He's a fantastic guy to deal with. But I hope you enjoyed this review. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.